of what we're hitting on here. This is a New Hampshire GOP Senate primary fight. The primary is on September 14th. There are a number of people in this primary contest, including the former Attorney General of New Hampshire, Kelly Ayotte, who has gotten some big endorsements, including from Sarah Palin.
You know, if you thought pit bulls were tough,
hold on a second.
You don't want to mess with the Mama Grizzlies, and I think there are a whole lot of those in this room. And we do have these good candidates, Pam Bondi and Jane Norton and Kelly Ayotte. So happy that you are here today.
So she lists Ayotte as one of the, quote, Mama Grizzlies, and Sarah Palin, who's done some great work across the country for candidates, went in early and endorsed Ayotte, as well as the Susan B. Anthony list that has done great work across the country for pro-life causes. So then,
they're both wrong. They're both wrong. Let me say, with all due respect, Kelly Ayotte is the nominee of the Washington establishment. She was handpicked by the senatorial campaign committee that has a long history of picking bad candidates who aren't real conservatives, or for that matter, in some cases, real Republicans. And they endorsed her early and poured in a lot of money, unfortunately. And that was a big mistake and highly unprincipled. Secondly, Sarah Palin has made a mistake. Kelly Ayotte is not a Mama Grizzly. She's a bear cub whose parents are the Washington establishment. And if Sarah were wise and just, she would rescind that endorsement and come out for the real conservative in this race, the real pro-life candidate, the candidate who has now surged to second place in the polls, let me say, a week before the primary, and that is Ovid Lamontagne.
And Ovid was down quite a bit. He's been able to raise some money in the last week. I'm sure a lot of my listeners have been kind and generous enough and believe in him enough to, kick in $25 or $50, and he's raised, I think, upwards of $100,000, which buys a lot of ads in New Hampshire. We linked him up on LauraIngraham.com, so you can go there and read about him. Now, why is it that Ayotte, in your mind, is not? Why isn't she credible as a consistent and common sense conservative?
I'll tell you that. There's plenty of evidence. But let me just second your call to your listeners to contribute to Ovid's campaign on his website or yours. He's been hugely outspent thanks to the Washington establishment, but he's in second place and he's surging. Meanwhile, a couple of millionaires who have spent a fortune are in third and fourth place. So you can see it's a viable horse race, and he's surging, and he's got some really good momentum going, but the principal handicap has been lack of funds. So I hope your listeners will help out.
Okay, give them a reason to do this, though, Senator. I mean, they're hearing all this stuff, but give me a quick 1, 2, 3. Why is Kelly Ayotte not a conservative? Why is Ovid the conservative?
All right, quick 1, 2, 3. Kelly Ayotte is a lawyer, and she served as Attorney General. Was first appointed for a few months by a Republican governor, and then she remained in office when the new governor came into office, namely John Lynch, who is the most liberal and the most disastrous big spending governor we've ever had. Well, Kelly Ayotte could have resigned then or some months after the new governor took office, but she stayed on the job serving this governor, giving him a cover of bipartisanship for 4 years, and he liked her so well, Laura, that he reappointed her. Now, what real, genuine, grassroots conservative would stay in office serving a governor for 4 years who had a demonstrated record of being super liberal in fiscal and social matters? The answer is none. So that's point number one. Point number two, this is a shocker that's just come to light publicly in the last few days. That is that as Attorney General, Kelly Ayotte authorized the payment of $300,000, that's big money in New Hampshire, to Planned Parenthood. There was a big suit, as you know, or perhaps will recall.
No, I'm the one who broke it on my show, so I'm very aware of this. But I want to hear it from you. There's a big case, parental notification, went all the way up to the Supreme Court. She was not obligated in her role as Attorney General to authorize a payout of $300,000 in legal fees to Planned Parenthood, but she did so. Am I getting anything wrong there?
That is correct. No, that is absolutely correct. I'm not an attorney, but I've been advised by one of the most eminent attorneys in the state that she could have She could have rejected the judge's ruling. She could have appealed the judge's ruling that the state pay the defense costs for Planned Parenthood. She did not appeal it. She did not dig in her heels. And, in fact, the whole thing was rather quietly pushed under the rug and coming to light now only years later. She's never explained that, never divulged it at the time. But the bottom line is that she authorized payment of $300,000 to Planned Parenthood. Now, you know how that money was spent. It's fungible. It was spent to promote abortion later on. So that's point number 2. Point number 3 is she supported the nomination confirmation of Judge Sotomayor, who is a guaranteed vote for upholding the existing interpretation of the Constitution with respect to abortion. So on and on. She was in favor of the stimulus package. The fact is, she's never held elective office. Now, that's not a mortal sin.
No, I don't care about that. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Neither.
Good. That doesn't bother me.
But she doesn't have much of a record in the sense of having voted for controversial issues. But what record she does have, namely that she served a very liberal Democrat governor for 4 years and was renominated, he was so pleased with her, that she paid $300,000 to Planned Parenthood, that she was in favor of Justice Sotomayor. I mean, there's a pattern there.
So the bottom line is, you think just Sarah Palin, who has made some great selections and helped people like Joe Miller in Alaska, and she's done a lot to help good people across this country. You think she got bad advice on this, or she just didn't have the full advice, or what?
I really do. Kelly Ayotte is no Mama Grizzly. She's a bear cub, and her parents are the senatorial campaign committee. Ovid LaMontagne has been endorsed by Steve Forbes, by Dan Quayle, by Gordon Humphrey, by somebody called Laura Ingraham, whoever she might be. And that, I think, if I may say so, we've all been around the track a few times.
Yeah, well, we know what time it is. Yeah.
We know how